An entire nation has joined 13 families today to mourn the deaths of the top military commander and 11 other military personnel today. General Bipin Rawat, his wife Madhulika Rawat, and the 11 other military personnel who tragically were lost in that disastrous military chopper crash. In Tamil Nadu earlier today, a wreath-laying ceremony took place at the Madras Regimental Centre in Tamil Nadu's Wellington, not very far from where the chopper had crashed. Chief Minister M.K. Stalin paid tribute to the Chief of Defence Staff and to the 12 others who lost their lives along with him. Locals showered flower petals as the ambulance carrying the mortal remains of the CDS and his wife and other personnel arrived at the Sulur airbase from Wellington. People in large numbers thronged the Sulur airbase to pay their last respects to India's Bravehearts. People were also heard chanting Bharat Mata Ki Jai. Children, as you can see in those pictures, waved the tricolour. There was public grief and sorrow for this incredible loss on their state soil.
जनरल बिपिन रावत डिफेंस सर्विसेज स्टाफ कॉलेज वेलिंगटन के स्टूडेंट ऑफिसर से इंटरेक्ट करने के लिए अपने एक शेड्यूल्ड विजिट पर थे। एयरफोर्स के Mi-17V5 हेलीकॉप्टर ने कल 11:48 पर सुलूर एयरबेस से अपनी उड़ान भरी, जिसे 12:15 पर वेलिंगटन में लैंड करना था। सुलूर एयरबेस के एयर ट्रैफिक कंट्रोल ने लगभग 12:08 पर हेलीकॉप्टर से अपना कांटेक्ट खो दिया। बाद में कुनूर के पास जंगल में कुछ स्थानीय लोगों ने आग लगी हुई देखी। जब वे भागकर उस स्थान पर पहुंचे तो उन्होंने मिलिट्री हेलीकॉप्टर के अवशेष को आग की लपटों से घिरा हुआ देखा।
A short while ago, I spoke with Lieutenant General CHAUHAN, a childhood friend, comrade and colleague of General Bipin Rawat, a person who literally shared every phase of his life with the departed Chief of Defence Staff. I asked him to reminisce and think about the legacy of General Bipin Rawat, his friend and colleague. You must watch this. Some memories of General Rawat, General CHAUHAN, of your growing up years. You must be having so many of him. What are the most memorable times that you can share with us with General Rawat? I mean, you've seen him at literally every phase of his life.
Every level, yes, we were children together. We were in the NDA together. What strikes me is that General Bipin could deal with disaster. He could deal with difficult times. Let me just give you an idea. We were traveling together. We were traveling together in Kashmir. He was commanding the Sopore Brigade, and I was commanding the Shopian Brigade, which are not that close, but close enough as far as South Kashmir is concerned. And General Bipin one day rang me up in the morning, and he says, he used to call me Kancha, that's actually younger brother, and I used to call him Dai, which is elder brother, in Nepali, because we were both from good cousin. So he says, Kancha, I'm coming to meet you. So I said, sure enough, sir, please come. So he drove, he came through an ambush, he was ambushed on the way, but that didn't stop General Bipin from actually coming over. And when he came, he just, no problem, just a couple of shots were fired at me. And we had lunch together. And, the thing was that he was continuously guiding and motivating and teaching me. And he would tell me, Kancha, do this, or this is the way we should do this. And this is how you deal with the people in Shopian. Because I had Shopian, Pulwama, Kulgam, and all these difficult areas with me. And he had Sopore, so we would share experiences. We would talk almost every day about those experiences. So what I found with General Bipin was that he was a great mentor to have, a great elder brother to have. That I would be. We did the staff college course together. General Bipin would be always there. He would come to me every day, or come home every day, or second day, and he'd say, Kancha, let's do this together. Or let's. So the thing was that he was always with us. He was always there for any kind of advice that you needed. He would give a keen ear to a lot of issues. We grew together. We literally grew through all the ranks together. Uh, I remember we traveling together during the National Defense College course. Moment we get off somewhere, and this is a very binding memory.
Yeah.
That moment we'd get off anywhere, he'd say, "Kancha, come, let's go for a walk." We may have traveled 12 hours, but General Bipin had to take a walk. it just didn't matter. He would get off the bus and he would say, "Come on, let's go." And we would whether it was Italy where we were visiting or Switzerland where we visited subsequently, General Bipin had to take a walk. One day he decided that he would take me for a swim, and it was actually almost 13 degrees outside. The pool was really cold, but he said, "No, we must do it," and he always did it. Yeah. So he was a great guy. And like I said, because he was so plain speaking and because he was so clear in what he was doing, General Bipin was often not liked because he would not hesitate to call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
That was the issue with him, and that's what he always did. He told me, he said, "Look, I have no time for being nice. He is where he is. He was the right man for the job, and as I said in the beginning, he had the heart for being the first Chief of Defence Staff.
Absolutely.
You require a very big heart to deal with whatever the enormous challenges that he had. And the other thing I always found about General Bipin was the love he had for the men. Wherever we were, and we've been together in so many places, he would make a beeline for the men. He would say, "Come, Kancha, let's go, and let's go and meet the troops." And he would be with the troops. We would dance. He knew all the Nepali songs, and he was a marvelous dancer. Very infectious, enthusiastic person, and huge energy. I didn't actually know where he got the energy from.
And what about the other 11 persons who perished in this tragic crash, along with Chief of Defence Staff General Bipin Rawat and his wife, Mrs. Madhulika Rawat? We are telling their stories here on India Today as well. Make no mistake, we grieve the loss of everyone who was on that helicopter. Here's the story of the other 11 personnel.
उस हेलीकॉप्टर में सवार कुल 14 लोगों में से 13 लोगों की मृत्यु हो गई। आर्म्ड फोर्सेस के अन्य 9 लोग शामिल हैं। उनके नाम हैं विंग कमांडर पृथ्वी सिंह चौहान, स्क्वाड्रन लीडर कुलदीप सिंह, जूनियर वारंट ऑफिसर राणा प्रताप दास, जूनियर वारंट ऑफिसर अरक्कल प्रदीप, हरविंदर सतपाल राय, नायक गुरुसेवक सिंह, नायक जितेंद्र कुमार, लांस नायक विवेक कुमार, लांस नायक बी साई तेजा।
From the topmost military officer to armed forces jawans, India mourns the deaths in the Nilgiris chopper crash. A decorated soldier, caring husband and doting father, brightest and bravest of the officers, words that describe Brigadier Lakhbinder Singh Liddar, military advisor to Chief of Defence Staff General Bipin Rawat. The brigadier is survived by his wife Geetika, a school teacher, and a 16-year-old daughter.
32 साल से इकट्ठे रह रहे हैं। उसकी जो पर्सनालिटी थी, हंसमुख, मिलनसार और बहुत ही अच्छे नेचर का था।
Lieutenant Colonel Harjinder Singh belonged to the 11 Gorkha Rifles, the same regiment as General Bipin Rawat. His missions included one at the Siachen Glacier and another on a UN peacekeeping mission. Wing Commander PRITHVI Singh CHAUHAN was the pilot flying the helicopter that crashed. The 42-year-old from Agra was posted at the Indian Airforce station in Sulur, where he was commanding officer of the 109 helicopter unit. Wing Commander CHAUHAN is survived by his wife Kamini, a 12-year-old daughter and a 9-year-old son.
यादें तो कभी मिट नहीं सकती क्योंकि उन्होंने इस तरह से उनका नेचर और जिस तरह से उनका मेहनती और वो सारी चीज़ें थी उनके अंदर जो क्वालिटियाँ थी वो याद ही करने लायक थी। आप बताएं।
Squadron leader Kuldeep Singh was the co-pilot of the Mi-17 that crashed. His father is a former Navy officer. His family currently lives in Jaipur. Kuldeep Singh had gotten married just 2 years ago.
आज पूरे गांव में शोक की लहर है। कुलदीप राव का व्यक्तित्व बहुत ही शानदार व्यक्तित्व था। एक ईमानदार, कर्तव्यनिष्ठ और समाज सेवी के रूप में उनकी अलग से पहचान थी। भाई कुलदीप राव की शहादत को हम सैल्यूट करते हैं। जय हिंद, जय भारत।
Rana Pratap Das was a junior warrant officer and a native of Talcher in Angul district of Odisha. Rana had completed 12 years in service and was posted in Delhi, where he lived with his wife and son. Arakkal Pradeep, a junior warrant officer, joined the Air Force in 2002 as a weapon fitter and was later selected as part of the air crew. A veteran of anti-Naxal operations in Chhattisgarh and flood rescue missions in Uttarakhand and Kerala, Pradeep was posted at the Sulur Air Force Station. He is survived by his wife and 2 children. Havildar Satpal Rai was the personal security officer of General Bipin Rawat. He was from Darjeeling. NAIK Gursevak Singh was a member of Bipin Rawat's security squad. A resident of Punjab's Taran Taran, Gursevak was posted in the 9 Para Special Forces unit of the army. Lance Naik Vivek Kumar was the principal staff officer of General Bipin Rawat from Himachal's Kangra. Vivek was in the J&K Rifles and also served in a para commando unit, engaged in VIP security. Married only last year, he is survived by his wife and a 6-month-old son. Lance Naik B. Sai Teja was a personal security officer of General Rawat, a prestigious posting that he got just 7 months ago. From Andhra's Chittur, Teja had joined the Indian Army in 2012. He is survived by his parents, wife and 2 children, a 3-year-old son and a 2-year-old daughter. The family says Lance Naik Sai Teja last spoke to his wife on Wednesday, moments before boarding the helicopter with Chief of Defence Staff Rawat. Naik Jitendra Kumar was from Dhamanda village in Madhya Pradesh. He had completed 8 years in the army and is survived by his wife, a 4-year-old daughter and a 1-year-old son. These men lost their lives in the line of duty, but will continue to live in the collective memory of a grateful and grieving nation. Bureau Report, India Today. And we've got breaking news coming in. The tributes that are being paid in all parts of the country, in all corners of the country. We've shown you what's happening in Tamil Nadu. Now details of the Shradhanjali ceremony at the Palam airbase have just come down to us. At 8:30 p.m. today, the ceremony will begin with homage being paid by Defence Secretary at the Ministry of Defence. At 8:33 p.m, the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Chief Marshal Vivek Chaudhary, will pay tribute. At 8:36 p.m, the Navy Chief. At 8:39 p.m, Army Chief General Naravane. At 8:42 p.m, Minister of State for Defence, Ajay Bhatt. At 8:45 p.m. will be the National Security Advisor. At 8:50 p.m. will be Defence Minister. At 9:05 p.m. will be Prime Minister Modi. And finally at 9:15 p.m. will be the President. So that is the sequence of the Shradhanjali ceremony, which will kick off at 8:30 p.m. starting with the Defence Minister and leading up from the Defence Secretary and leading up to the President of the country. 9:05 p.m. is when Prime Minister Modi will be paying his tribute to the departed souls. Now, as we pay tribute to the 13 who were so tragically lost in this catastrophic crash, let's remember always that there is one person who has survived. The sole survivor of this horrific military chopper accident is Group Captain Varun Singh. His situation is not good, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to lie to you. He has suffered extensive injuries, burn injuries, and is currently unconscious. He's on life support and undergoing treatment. He's literally fighting for his life. Group Captain Varun has been shifted to the Air Force Command Hospital in Bengaluru. These are images of him getting onto an Indian Airforce AN-32 at Sulur, from where he was flown to Bengaluru for further treatment. And now doctors are doing their very best to make sure that Group Captain Varun Singh, a recipient of the Shaurya Chakra this year, makes a full recovery. Our prayers are with him. He was pulled out of the wreckage of the Mi-17 V5 helicopter alive. Group Captain Varun Singh, Shaurya Chakra, the lone survivor of the horrific tragedy. He was breathing but had severe burn injuries and was rushed to the military hospital in Wellington by emergency services. Group Captain Varun, directing staff at the Defence Services Staff College in Wellington, was escorting the Chief of Defence Staff, General Bipin Rawat, and his entourage to the Staff College, where he was to deliver a lecture. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh in Parliament on Thursday gave details of Group Captain Varun's condition.
क्रैश साइट से सर्वाइवर्स को रिकवर करने का भी प्रयास किया। उस अवशेष से जितने भी लोगों को निकाला जा सका, उन सबको यथाशीघ्र वेलिंगटन के मिलिट्री हॉस्पिटल पहुंचाया गया। कुल 14 लोगों में से 13 लोगों की मृत्यु हो गई। ग्रुप कैप्टन वरुण सिंह वेलिंगटन के मिलिट्री हॉस्पिटल में लाइफ सपोर्ट पर हैं और उन्हें बचाने के हर संभव प्रयास किए जा रहे हैं।
Group Captain Varun is a true survivor. He was awarded the nation's third highest gallantry award, the Shaurya Chakra, for his amazing grit, determination and valor. In October 2020, then Wing Commander Varun was test flying a Tejas light combat aircraft on a test sortie. With deft handling of the aircraft, despite the fighter plane pitching wildly, he brought it under control, choosing not to eject, but to land the aircraft, putting his life at grave risk, but saving a valuable national asset and lives on the ground. Group Captain Varun Singh, a fighter pilot, a role model for many, was posted to the Staff College to motivate future commanders. Group Captain Varun is a second-generation officer hailing from Uttar Pradesh. 1 billion prayers are now on for his speedy and complete recovery. Bureau Report, India Today. 7:40 p.m. is when the mortal remains will be arriving in the national capital. 8:30 p.m. is when a national tribute ceremony will begin in the national capital. We are on the ground at the Palam Air Force Base, the first channel to get you all of those images, and we will bring you the voices that matter in our coverage. I promise, with the greatest of sensitivity. Our coverage continues after this break. We'll tell you all about what that Shradhanjali ceremony is going to entail.